doubles and coffee. Eid Mubarak to the Muslim community and to all of Trinidad and Tobago. I just came back from the Hyatt where I did an interview on Tobago Channel 5 with Brother B. He asked me a question at the end that I was not allowed to finish because he was afraid of libel and he doesn't understand that truth is not libelous. So let me answer the question. He asked me, do I hate Keith Christopher Rowley? And on this day of prayer and spirituality, goodwill to man and so on, I had to be truthful. Yes, and it's a very strong, powerful word. Some of you may not like the word, but I detest Keith Christopher Rowley. And I was going to answer the question in detail, but I started maybe at somewhere too harsh, too hard for Brother B. So Brother B, let me answer your question. Yes, I hate Keith Christopher Rowley. Starting with 1969, because we are all men and we are fathers. I have two beautiful daughters and a son. But let's deal with the daughters. Keith Rowley was a teacher, a position of responsibility and trust. He used that trust to get to have sex with a girl of school age. He impregnated that girl, ignored that child, Gartalin, for 44 years. So that, as a man, I detest that, because we as men, if you play mass, you can't freight powder, you have to mind your children all, inside, outside, left side, right side. So Keith Rowley is not a man. I don't respect men who are not men and do not accept their responsibility, as especially fatherhood. Furthermore, Keith Christopher Rowley is a pathological liar. I detest Keith Christopher Rowley, and not one day, not 1 second will you see me fabricate or lie on him. He lies on people with impunity. He's pathological, whether it's email gate, whether it is the off inquiry when he attacked Patrick Manning, Delcy gate. He lies without batting an eyelid. So I detest that, and I have no respect for it, Brother B. Furthermore, he is a man who has come into a position of power through a myriad and a tapestry of lies, innuendo, and support from businesses and people who do not have the patriotic belief or good of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Keith Christopher Rowley is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and he divides this country like no other. Do I hate Keith Christopher Rowley? Yes, I do. Because anyone who puts division and pushes race and plays the race card and divides Afro-Trinbagonians and Indo-Trinbagonians is deleterious to the positive development of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago took its best, biggest, widest strides when East Indian Trinbagonians and African Trinbagonians got together, whether it was 1922, whether it was 1961, whether it was 1986, whether it was 2010. So Keith Christopher Rowley is a divider. Do I detest Keith Christopher Rowley? Yes, because I am a black man and I'm proud to be black. I've existed in a world due to my parents' intelligence and ability to earn a good living, that I have had the opportunity to live and grow up amongst all types of people and live and travel the entire globe. I have seen racism firsthand, and I have seen how it can devastate the respect that people have for one another. So when Keith Christopher Rowley is not proud of being a black man, when he is an Oreo, when all of his speeches and every word he says, he looks down upon black people, I do not respect that. I detest that. I hate that. I am proud to be black. I was in a swimming is a white people's sport, and I was proud to be the first black man to hold national records and to coach and to go into the globe and attack the world and carry swimmers and create the first black woman to ever make an Olympic final. And then I have to see Keith Christopher Rowley as my leader, who talks to young, upwardly mobile black people purchasing HDC homes and tells them not to turn it into a ghetto and throw sneakers on the wires. The man is vile. He is not proud. He has some serious flaws and chips on his shoulder. Do I detest Keith Christopher Rowley? Yes. Because anybody who's put in a position of power and will abuse poor people, abuse single mothers, abuse the differently able, take resources from them to enrich himself, his family, his friends, and his financiers. I detest that. So, Brother B, in a nutshell, do not hide. I detest Keith Christopher Rowley. Do I enjoy that I detest the Prime Minister? No. But does he deserve to be the Prime Minister? No. But it is our politics of race, especially in Trinidad, that has brought us to this position. And we need to bring back the words of our anthem together. Every creed and race finds an equal place, and we live together. We must vote how we live. We love African people, love doubles, Sahina. We celebrate Diwali and Eid. Indian people love corn soup. They love carnival. They love soca. They love music. That's what Trinidad and Tobago is. All of us are one blood. So do not tell me to respect Keith Christopher Rowley, because I do not. Nothing that he does earns respect of anyone. He's in a cabinet and utilizing his power to sleep with junior ministers' wives. You respect that, Brother B? I don't. So don't tell me that I must like Keith Christopher Rowley or I must respect him as Prime Minister. He is a disgrace, the worst human being to ever ascend to such high office. He is a pariah, and yes, I detest him. So that's your answer, Brother B. Do not be afraid to talk the truth. I do not pretend. The man suffers poor people and children, takes laptops from poor people, increases taxes, job losses are the highest ever, while he has increased recusals in his cabinet, and his cabinet has become the richest cabinet in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. You want me to respect that? No, sir, Brother B. Tobago showed him what he deserved, 14-1, and that's what he will get and deserves in Trinidad also. So I hope I've answered your question now, Brother B. God bless. It was a pleasure being on your show, Tobago Channel 5. Good morning. Blessings.
Let's welcome Mr. Arnold Robertson. I say because he's one of the most controversial talk show hosts in this country. What was his noteworthy takeaway chant, should we say, and signaturing of course, the brand of Arnold Roberts. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to the beautiful island of Tobago. Eid Mubarak to all the Muslims in Trinidad and Tobago, and to Trinidad and Tobago across the board. You know, the moon was sighted last night, and we need prayers in this country. So Eid Mubarak to one and all.
Very good. We come to prayers, and of course, and let's get into it. Watson Duke and the PDP has, can I safely say that they have instilled fear in the UNC?
Brother B, I like you. Let me tell you something, Brother B.
Yeah.
You're talking to Anil, right?
Yeah.
The mighty USA, Michael Phelps, Canada, Germany didn't instill fear when I coached George Bovell with his Tobago heritage. As you would know, he's a bishop from Tobago, George Bovell III, to take on the world. So let me introduce a new concept to politics. One can have respect for one's competitor. One can like what they're doing, can encourage them to join. But one does not fear. So Watson Duke, welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. I know Watson Duke since he was taking on the leadership of the PSA, the PNM lady who got a licking from Watson Duke way back in 2009. So I admire what he's doing. I love what the PDP is doing in Tobago. I see that Watson would like to dip his foot in the water in Trinidad, and he's welcome. I like how he's talking, but he's going to get a walloping and a licking from me if he come wrong St. Joseph and from Kamla Prasad Bisasa across the board. So you can like someone, you can respect someone, but there is no fear. Watson going to get a curtail is very simple. Brother, let me know what you're talking about.
All right, okay. So let's deal with this whole question of, you said you admire his ambition.
Yes.
Basically, and he's here in Trinidad.
Correct.
Obviously, you said we need prayers.
Yes.
Is Watson answering some of the prayers in the depressed communities? He's saying going to live there. And why hasn't the UNC really taken up the areas that Watson is focusing on to bring relief in some cases to the people who are...
Well, that's why I love when you invite me on this program. Let me educate Watson a little bit, because while he is now going to spend $100 and live in depressed communities, way back in 2008 when I was on Spork, that show that you said, what? I saw the poverty line was drawn at $665. And back then, some 14 years ago, I decided to attempt to live for 1 month on $666. You can go on YouTube, Facebook, and see the videos. I was on Gael, the channel, and I said I would use my money, not for rent, not for electricity, not for cable, nothing, just food and transport. I made 17 days, and the money was done. I walked from deep in Pity Valley to Abercrombie Street to 102, and Dennis Hall, a.k.a. Sprangalang, berated me for about an hour and said, that is enough. I had lost 14 pounds. I was taking bus. I was eating 1 meal per day. It was absolutely ludicrous. So I will sit down and have a conversation with Watson Duke, who is now going to learn what it is like to really live and feel the poverty. The UNC and ANIL has been doing that for 14 years. And from that information, I also went into government under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And it's nice to hear Watson Duke talking about some of the things that existed under Kamla and the UNC and Tim Gopi Singh, like counselors and psychologists, guidance counselors in school. The UNC increased the numbers from 20, which was an average of 1 counselor and psychologist under the PNM with Manning in 2010, 1 counselor per 5 schools, and Tim Gopi Singh employed over 275 guidance counselors and psychologists. Rowley, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, the biggest embarrassment to Tobago, and I talk from a half Tobagonian position. Al Roberts is a Tobagonian. Luther Roberts, my grandfather, was Principal Roberts. Keith Rowley is an embarrassment to Tobago. What he did is he came in and reversed everything that Kamla did, which Watson Duke would like to now reintroduce. So I will give him Kamla's 2010 manifesto and her policies that she implemented so that he could start to get some ideas of what existed under her. But I like his ideas.
Very good. Let's go now to one of your biggest challenges, should we say, and of course you call out the Prime Minister to bring it on.
Yes.
The investigation about live sport. I want to bring that to focus and to for you to have an opportunity to declare your innocence, as it were.
Well, I will talk that. Yes, there's no need for me to declare my innocence. Live Sport was a program designed and conceptualized by me because I knew what Watson is trying to find out now, that the PNM had left black people to suffer. The idea originated in 2007 in Sealots when I was walking as a member of the Congress of the People, and I saw a young boy 8 and 10 years old playing football on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. just by down in the back where the fishery is. And I sat down there and they came up and they said, "Good morning, sir. Could we talk to you?" Very polite and so on. I said, "Of course you could talk to me." The young man, 8 years old, said, "So what is someone like you," because I was on TV, radio and so on, "what is someone like you doing in Sealots?" And I sat down there and I had children of the same age. And the only philosophy those children had, my children, was that if they do well in school or they do well in swimming or their sport, Daddy will buy them something. For a young man to understand that somehow he is different or he doesn't belong at 8 years old, it meant that that message had to be pounded in him from in the gut. So, my brother, live sport came from that. What was live sport? Live sport was giving people, the children who had made the wrong decision, who were out on the road actually actively in crime, real criminal activity, not CCC, not MyLat, not MyPart, taking them off the street. Do you know when we found them, half of them had no ID, so they could not have a bank account, because the only reason you know that they were Trinidadian was because they talk like us and they hair on the rocks. They were actively involved. We got psychologists, counselors. In live sport, what they don't tell you is that out of the 66 areas that were taking place, there were national footballers, national cricket captain, boxers, national heroes who were instilling mentorship and so on. There was guidance counselors, social counselors, $1,500. So all the nonsense that Rowley would like to lie about live sport. I am here 7 years later. He could investigate from now. He could spend $800. He will quicker reach Golden Grove than Anil Roberts. You understand? You could ask anything.
Impropriety on your part?
Absolutely not. Now let me tell you, and let us be very clear. Absolutely not. And look in this camera. Hold on. So the audit report, hold on. the 59 pages of the audit report that was done in the live sport, Anil Roberts' name, wife name, girlfriend name, friend name, family name was not mentioned at one time. There is not an iota of anything untoward involving the Minister of Sport, Anil O.E. Roberts. Rowley could talk from now till thy kingdom come. He will end up in Golden Grove first because he have fill out the form.
Let's be respectful and let's stay with you.
I'm always respectful.
Yes, all right. So I would like you, I mean, and for the children's sake, not for you or for me, to address him as Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley.
No, I won't do that.
All right. Well, fine. All right. So let's go.
Because he has brought the office into disrepute. He is dishonest, and I won't do that. I teach my children to respect those. Respect is reciprocal. You're Tobagonian, you know that.
Mr. Roberts,
yes, sir. Anil will be good. Al Roberts is Mr. Roberts.
All right, let's continue. All right, so the idea of live sport was intended to take these people or these young children who were potentially...
Not young children, 15 to 25 active criminals.
To make them model citizens through sport.
Well, through sport, guidance, counseling, putting food in their belly, giving them money, creating entrepreneurs.
What went wrong?
Nothing went wrong. Hold on, sir.
I want to get, hold on,
Brother B, nothing went wrong. I just told you. Listen, let me tell you the facts.
There was a fall down of the program at some point. Because what went wrong, Mr. Anil?
Well, what went wrong is I'm showing you that there was dishonesty. You must of the PNM. Let us be clear. The audit report, you see, Brother B, you have to ask my question, let me answer you. Because you're coming 7 years later and you have not read. The audit report that was done, which created the furor about live sport, was quashed in 2017. Do you understand what that meant? That means that they went into court, the public servants, not the minister, because the minister's name wasn't there. The minister took no active role. So the public servants who were the subject of the audit report went to court. They went through a court process, documents, defense, cross-examination, and the learned judge threw out the audit report as fraudulent. You see, the media doesn't print that. So you're still talking about something that was thrown out. So it's like you concoct a story. I say, well, Brother B was doing X, Y, and Z, and so on. The judge say Brother B didn't do nothing, and all you pretend that didn't happen. So the audit report was totally thrown out. Why? Because, for example, the main point that brought in your mind, and I'm sure it's still in your mind, was that someone got $34 million for doing nothing, and that the lawyers said, do not pay that man, and they still paid him. If that were true, that's very corrupt, and somebody should be in jail. Here's the problem, Brother B. It's a total falsehood and a lie. The board was fighting with the E-Beam Interact to get them to do the work. So it was a contractual dispute as in any other business. And the lawyer, the internal lawyer, Lisa Solomon, wrote to the then board, and you have to remember live sport, the minister's not involved. You have a live sport board, you have the sport company board, you have the permanent secretary, you have a full structured director, and so on. The board got advice on this contract because the person was trying not to provide, and the sport company board was trying to get them to do it. And Lisa Solomon on page 4 of a 5-page advice said, based on the contract that exists, you are legally obligated to pay the contractor. The board was not satisfied with that. They went out to J.D. Sellier and Associates, Robert Gailey, counsel, and Lisa and Anja Das. They went through the contract and informed the board that they were legally obligated by the contract to pay the individual. The media and the PNM put out that this man or this company got money for nothing. It's not the truth. What you do is when you tell fibs. So you ask me a question. So there is no problem.
I want us to move
to cut a long story short, Rowley could bring in more people from England, investigate, look Anil right here. Come on, Brother B. Look me right here.
Fine, we got that. Let's move on. All right. Watson spoke about decentralizing the powers in the corporations in this upcoming election, and you were telling me how prepared the UNC is going forward. Obviously, you have Watson to fear, and you said you didn't.
You come back with this fear thing.
So let's bring this whole idea of decentralizing the power. Obviously, it's a good idea that Watson spoke about, but just his presence and what he's speaking to and doing things differently. What is the UNC intending to do in that regard?
Well, Watson, beautiful fellow, very good. But I live in the real world. You cannot devolve power or take away without going to the parliament we are a country of laws and a democratic state. So you could say what nice ideas you have, but if you do not understand how it needs to be implemented, in order to do what Watson Duke would like to do, and the UNC has said that we'd love to do that, because right now we suffer from geographical discrimination.
Yeah.
Because the Ministry of Local Government is responsible for issuing releases of funds to all the corporations. The Ministry of Local Government now is PNM, and all of the corporations that are held in UNC constituencies and the 7 that are controlled by the UNC have been starved of funds for the last 5.5 to 6 years. We have been receiving only 28% of the allocated budget. If we would like to devolve or dissolve or to differentiate power and to move it across, we have to go to Parliament. We have to have constitutional reform. It can't happen before any election today.
Exactly.
It can't happen by VAPS. It's a good idea.
All right, let's talk about the 7 corporations that is under the
Yes.
UNC control. Going forward, what are the plans differently, given what is happening now? You said you're starved for funds. Do you intend to hold on to these 3 and make inroads in the others that may be up for grabs? What are the plans going forward for this?
The plans are going forward is to eliminate the PNM from the political landscape. I'm proud of Watson Duke and the PDP and Farley Augustine for wiping the PNM out of Tobago 14-1. And if they continue to do that, we in the UNC take inspiration from that. And we want to wipe the PNM out of Trinidad and Tobago local government and, more importantly, the central government. Because, for example, you see that the Tobago is 14-1 PDP. But yet 2 PNM MPs sit down there as if they are still representing someone in Tobago. They talk to no one. They don't even wear the same colors. They should have done the correct thing under the Westminster system, and they should have resigned after that licking that they got from the PDP and gone for 2 by-elections in Tobago East and West. They did not, because they do not respect competition, they do not respect democracy, and it's a level of arrogance. We are going to obliterate the PNM. We're going to take 2 more corporations. We are going to win another 16 burgesses in the local government election, and when the general election is coming, we are going to win 24 seats in Trinidad.
Okay.
The PDP should win 2 in Tobago, and the PNM will be wiped out. They will then have to see who will be their leader. Amory Bong, Foster Cummins, Penny Beckles, Faris Al-Rawi, Brian Manning. They have plenty leaders who are totally incompetent at the PNM.
All right, let's deal with the whole question of, is there any possibility, of course, let's talk coalition. The UNC is familiar, of course, 2010, the People's Partnership, and that worked well up until MSG and others decided to part. Is there a possibility of any coalition going forward with any party? Maybe the PDP, I don't know, or whoever, PEP, you name it. Is there any plans going forward for this upcoming local government elections?
No plan whatsoever. The United National Congress is a party working hard on the ground in every constituency. Of course, everyone is welcome to join the UNC, put on a yellow jersey, and move forward under the policies. I admire people who want to come into the competitive situation. I like competition. I fear no one, and we fear no competition. If anybody in Trinidad and Tobago wants to join with United National Congress, if you believe in education as the key, what Watson Duke would like to do, Kamala did, building 106 schools, increasing gate funding from 300 million to 726 million in 2014, 59,000 children across the board getting help in their education from TechVoc. She built MIC Center in Tobago, was bringing a UE campus to Tobago. Kamala Persad-Bissessar has shown it. Watson would like to show it. It's looking good, dressed nice. I love the jersey, the music sweet. Oh, Lord, yes. But let me tell you this.
Okay.
The United National Congress is ready to eliminate the PNM. Whoever would like to join and help, good for them. Coalition politics is very difficult. I was part and parcel of that government. And for Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and I'm glad you said it, to successfully hold together a coalition of 5 parties with people like MSJ, people who, they have some people who could never be happy with IMSJ. You understand?
Well, let's go now. You mentioned in passing, and I want us to focus on this, and hence when Watson spoke about decentralizing the power, you said there are young people in certain communities who don't have an ID, so they can't vote.
Correct.
So let's deal. What was your approach? Was there any approach to fixing that?
Yeah, live sport was doing that.
And let's
Correct.
talk about where it is now.
Yes.
Because there's still young people in those communities
In
who do have a
greater
clue.
numbers.
Let's talk about
Yes.
what plans are there to fix this problem of children not
Correct. Well, let me tell you, and you make a great point. And that's why you asked a question originally. Why did the PNM attack live sport? Let me tell you something. Tobago is lucky. Tobago has no race politics. 94% of Tobagonians are Afro-Tobagonian. In Trinidad, since 1956, Dr. Williams injected race and separated East Indian from African in Trinidad in order to hold on power. He has done that so well, he's created a PNM cult where you can have a man who looks like you but suffers you and takes everything from you, takes your opportunity, your hope, your education, your sport, your culture, cuts everything, and then puts people who look like Colmimbot in charge and says that's a black man party. Dr. Williams was very intelligent. You see, in our history, when African and Indian get together, things happen in a positive way. In 1922, the East Indian National Association and the African National Congress got together in Trinidad, and that's how we got the Legislative Council from the colonials. But then when we were coming to constitutional reform and towards independence, there was a committee set up of 33 individuals to design a constitution. Do you know that Tobago, only one person from Tobago was included on that committee, and that was APT James. And the disrespect of Tobago began then and was enhanced, encouraged, and entrenched under the PNM. Trinidadians don't disrespect Tobago. The PNM disrespects Tobago. The PNM, I had a Senator, Mr. De Freitas, telling me when the EBC was instructed what to do in Tobago, he said, well, when Tobago can't handle their business, Trinidad will step in. He said that on Hansard, and I was ashamed for him. So we need to get back to respect. The problem is that the live sport was bringing African youths together with an East Indian party. And where we saw no ID, we paid initially in cash, got ID, got representation, and got WASA bills and so on to move forward.
Where are they now? Given that
worse, because you crashed the program for no reason.
So it's worse off. You
You
have the knowledge that this problem exists. Mr. Arnold Roberts, it's incumbent on you, given that you recognize that, to instruct and to speak with your colleagues in the parliament.
Who's the colleagues? PNM?
Hold on. Let me stay with UNC, if you want to claim that. That this, because it's a real problem. If they do not have IDs, they really don't belong here, or they're not citizens, because that is your identification. You could vote, you could apply for a job, you can get whatever. What are you doing? And when you leave here, I want a commitment from you that you're going to go back into those communities to seek those young people who do not have IDs and other identification forms to get it. Is that a plan?
What I love about you, Brother B, hear this problem that you have. While that sounds nice, we live in the first past the post system. We have a constitution that was handed to us by Sir Ellis Clark, who told us that we were trained to follow this document that came from the colonial masters. The PNM epitomizes the colonial masters just in a different hue. So when I am an opposition senator, we have absolutely no power to impact change, to bring policy, to impact lives. The system, that the constitution needs to be changed so that we can do what you said. Now, you talk about colleagues. The PNM are not collegial. They don't listen to anyone. In the COVID-19 fight, the UNC had 5 qualified doctors with a cumulative 200 years experience. The PDP had Dr. B. Israel. Did the PNM listen? No, they put a convent girl who could not pass a pharmacy exam in charge, and 3,800 people are dead, brother.
Mr. Roberts,
so,
you're deviating.
But I'm giving you the solution.
Well, stick to it.
Vote UNC. Local and government election, put us in power. We will do.
Mr. Roberts, you're campaigning.
But of course, I
must take the championship.
So you feel I just come here because you look good in suit?
I gave you a responsibility, and you.
No, you can't.
Are you shirking the responsibility?
No, I can't.
Because it's a social issue, and all that needs to be done is to have the social welfare people or whoever in government instruct. You have a program,
hear what
so you
said.
Can deal with that because it's an issue.
I hear you. You know, I love your brother B. You could talk fast.
Right.
But hear what you just said. The social welfare and the government. The PNM is the social welfare. The PNM is the government. The cabinet is the government. Rowley is the prime minister. That's their job. If you want me to do it, I want to do the work. Give me the job. Put Kamala as prime minister, put the UNC in power,
Right.
and we will fix it.
All right.
Because that's the constitution, my brother B.
Mr. Roberts, and I
Yes.
want to, as we get ready to close.
Already, boy, let me talk now,
no,
man.
we go. We have to go. We have other guests. There are those who are saying, when they listen to your program, that you hate Dr. Rowley. I want you to fix this now. Now, you are a parliamentarian. You all are colleagues in the parliament. And I want for those out there who feel or get the impression that when you speak and the way you disrespect him on your program, in the way you refer to him as first name and so on. And I want to fix this now because you're a good person. You want to do well. But for those out there who follow you, listen. Get to enough and say, hey, this man is too disrespectful.
Okay.
Do you hate the prime minister?
Yes. And let me tell you why. And I use the word hate, and I'm glad you
Why
use
are you
it.
promoting
Because
hate, Mr.
hold on,
Roberts?
I'm not promoting hate. You asked me a question. Do I hate the prime minister? Yes. Why? Because I love children. And when a man was a school teacher, and he... No, you asked me a question, Brother B.
All right, Mr.
Brother
Roberts.
B asked me a
Mr. Roberts.
question. You know what I answer the
Mr.
question.
Roberts.
When a man disrespects and uses power to impregnate a girl of school age, that is not respect.
Mr. Roberts,
I detest that.
no, Mr. Roberts, we have to stop here.
Why?
No, because this is
you can't talk the truth. That is not liable.
Hold on. Mr. Roberts.
Hold on.
All right. So
I withdraw from Tobago 5 and the words are my own. That's not liable. That's the truth.
Okay. We want to thank you for being
so
here.
So God Allen is not born? Hold on, Brother B.
We got to go.
You got to go?
All right. So at this point in time,
Brother B, don't ask no question. You don't know the answer.